first one.
Yeah, that was the first one. I said was driving. Oh, the nice guys. That's what.
Nice Guys. By the way,
Nice Guys.
that's a proper underrated movie.
Oh yeah,
Nice Guys.
Yeah, should have got a sequel, but like
So that.
No,
I was gonna say the Last Guys was that original IP? Was that original?
Yeah.
Yes, original Shane Black movie.
But it's crazy because people say, "Oh yeah, we want new IP." You get new IP, you don't watch it.
yeah.
That's the problem with modern cinema, though. That's the thing, because like now studios think they want to be very risk averse. You know what I mean? It's a risk averse business at the end of the day, and hence the reason why we've had this glut of like superhero movies, blah blah blah, stuff like that, and loads of kind of like sequels and things like that. But now we need kind of like, and it's kind of slowly happening where we're getting a couple of original films and stuff like that, and you're getting films that are from big directors who are making stuff which normally wouldn't get made. For example, Oppenheimer. No studio would normally make Oppenheimer. Yeah. But if you have like an actual star, which is Chris Nolan, because Chris Nolan is a star, even though he's behind the camera.
Everyone knows.
You can get that kind of movie made.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, like,
That makes sense.
So I was just about to say, but okay, dying down of obviously the superhero franchise and stuff like that. Yeah, but it was needed. And do you reckon that a new set of stars is gonna sort of fill the spot?
What was needed?
Like the superhero genre.
You're saying bring it back life to the cinema.
Yeah, no, it really did
what's
that.
the
But
next trend going to be? Basically?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But do you reckon they just need a reshift of new actors, or they need to focus on something away from superhero?
I think the main thing is the writing. Bring it close, take it up. Yeah. Okay, I think the main thing is writing. Honestly,
yes.
Like in the beginning, all of these superhero movies, everything was like these movies were just good at the end of the day. And now I feel like they're trying to. I don't know what it is. It's like sometimes they give budget for reasons that don't make sense. Like I was seeing some pictures.
Give an example.
I was seeing a picture the other day, right, of Samuel Jackson in one of these Marvel movies, and he's sitting in an apartment with a gun.
I've been seeing that on the internet for the past few days.
They're in green screen. Yeah. The gun is a CGI. It's not even a prop, and I'm just like, why don't you just film on location?
For that one, that's from Far From Home. So basically the story behind that is that because Marvel have sort of reshoots and additional photography like built in, like after obviously primary filming. With Far From Home, I don't think Samuel Jackson was able to make it for the shooting. They did shoot it in a real room, and so obviously with a lot of reshoots for one pickup shot, it would be too much budget spent to fly him out back into that same room again. And because it's so later on as well, they didn't have the prop for the gun, so they would have to essentially comp it in. Yeah. So it's the case of that. But I do get what you're saying about the budget, because I know the Marvels recently had like a $200 million budget, and in all fairness, it was a good-looking film. But at the same time, I was like, where did that money go? Where did the money go?
Yeah,
I was gonna say. Okay, cool. I was just gonna say when you suggested budget, I think about movies like The Creator, for example.
I was just about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? That movie didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
What? It looked beautiful.
It was amazing,
bro. It was amazing.
But again, it goes back to what Mo said. Like you have an original story, but the script wasn't 100% there.
I know, but it's original story. It looks great. It's not costly. Well, obviously, 100 million is a lot of money.
Acted.
You know what I'm saying?
It was well acted. Yeah.
People aren't supporting it.
Exactly.
I see this talk online all the time, and it's like a cycle where everyone's like, "Oh, we need to go out and support original movies again, so that we get more of these." Because that's how it works. Hollywood only funds whatever sells. And then it comes around, so we get stuff like The Nice Guys, and then it doesn't make a lot of money, and everyone's like, "Where were you then?" Yeah, and then this whole conversation happens. Where were you then?
Yeah.
And I was there in the trenches in the cinema. That's where I was.
I'm saying. Sorry, do you think that a lot of people are critical in regards to a lot of stuff that's been put out, but yet going to what Hadeed's saying, they're not willing to sort of put their skin in the game. They like everybody wants to critique other people's work, but yet they don't want to put their skin in the game. They don't want to put their ideas.
Everyone's a critic.
Hence, that's where we are. But no. But in all seriousness, you have a lot. Like who said they hate the superhero franchise? Or was it Joaquin Phoenix? No. Scorsese and.
Again, his quotes were kind of misconstrued. I think.
I don't think he said he hated them. It was just more that he saw them as not what pure cinema is.
Yes.
So, even adding to what you just said, like, I don't remember the director's name. He directed an movie called Megalopolis?
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of someone that said, "Cool, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is." He sold his vineyard to fund this movie.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, or is it out yet?
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet, but already people already like, nah, I watch that. Do you know what I'm saying? People, the people have already seen it already. Are like,
the guys in regards to film is a mastermind. If you've made in my opinion, the best film like ever made, which is Godfather 2. No, which you haven't watched, Ken. Unfortunately,
really, we're doing the outtakes. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right there, bro. It's an easy one, bro. But again, I think for me, the best kind of era of kind of film was probably around about mid 60s towards late 70s. I think probably the best era of film. Like you have hit after hit after hit, stuff that won Academy Award after Academy Award after Academy Award. Stuff that's rated like above 7 on IMDb, for example. And then
I was gonna say another thing that's kind of ruining this stuff is things like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. People will kind of see these things from like first reactions and be like, "Oh, it's rated fresh 67% or whatever." It's like, I ain't gonna watch that. It's not on the 90% scale. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, shouldn't you just go judge a movie for yourself? Because there's a lot of like movies that people will typically think are crap, but I like them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone has their own different.
2012.
There you go. That's exactly what it is.
Bro.
Yeah.
Go watch the movie.
I think that plays a big role in it as well. I think Letterboxd is probably the only one that's kind of true to its rating. Usually, like when I see a specific rating in Letterboxd and I watch the movie, I'm like, okay, that made sense why it's rated that way.
Yeah. No, but I also think like I'll go to the point I made before about kind of like the 60s and 70s having great films. I also think just after the 80s, like the 90s, had some outstanding films that we grew up with.
Shout out to Axel Foley.
You know what I mean? Axel F coming out soon on Netflix.
I'm worried about that one, but go on.
But again, I think...
But there's a big reason why that's coming out on Netflix and not on the big screen.
Yeah. Because apparently it hasn't got a quote-unquote audience. But then it goes back to the point I was trying to make is like great films made during that time weren't like a certain genre. You know what I mean? Weren't just like all westerns, like literally the preceding like 10 years, like literally like 40 years before the 60s kind of thing. Like the 60s and 70s, they were done with westerns kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think between like 60s and the 90s, maybe like a handful were made. You know what I mean? Of like westerns. Whereas now we're in a point where we do have superhero fatigue. And James Gunn made a great point. We have superhero fatigue not because we're sick of superhero movies, but we're sick of poorly told superhero movies. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point he made. And it's something I agree with. Because again, if we have a superhero film, like for example, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, you know what I mean? Which is my number 2 film of last year. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that it was superhero film. It has to be a great film.
But that's what I'm saying. What does superhero fatigue mean? Because I go back to my point. If the script is good, the movie is good, then it is what it is. People are going to watch it and they're going to like it at the end of the day.
But audiences are going to be turned off completely. They're not even going to give it a chance because it is a superhero film. And that's the issue.
They're still making their money though at the end of the day. Like how many people are looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine?
Everybody. But the thing is my sisters are not looking forward to it. They're done with it. They're tired of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's because obviously they're civilians. We're in this thing kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the difference. That's something a lot of people in the industry like are not aware of. Like I was talking to like people who are PR people, and they don't understand like how amazing their streaming service. I'm not gonna say what streaming service was. They don't understand the stranglehold their streaming service has on, you know what I mean, on the public. Yeah. They're worried about the competition. You know what I mean? They're worried about the other one. You know what I mean? That you're thinking of. So it's just a strange thing because they just need to understand the fact that, again, goes back to what you're saying, original films need to be made, kind of thing. Great scripts, but then that goes back to the whole thing of paying writers, making sure writers, you know what I mean, are seen, are heard, not replacing them with freaking AI. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, bro. You know what I mean?
On the topic of superhero films, especially the MCU, there's been like a lot of conversation about Phase 4 and what people's feelings are on it. I feel like it's a whole. There are many contributing factors. It's not one or another. There's a lot, but I would feel for me when I've had a good think about it. And I feel like one of the main things that kind of did it for the MCU was oversaturation. So the thing with writing quality is that you can't judge it objectively because it's always going to be subjective. Yes. So what I've noticed online is like, well, when people do talk about each of the Phase 4 projects, I will see people who say WandaVision, for example. There are people who do not like it. There are people who love it and think it's the best thing in the MCU. And you could do that for literally every single one of Phase 4 that came out, because it's one of those things. So it's like you can't measure quality. It's one of those things where maybe to some extent, like you said about Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot, but I feel like that's people's perceptions of quality. But oversaturation, I remember was it Damon Lindelof, the Watchmen writer? I think he spoke about around the time Ms. Marvel came out, and he said he straight up just said to I think it was an Instagram post, but he said to slow it down to Marvel. They said everything will feel like it like it's more important if you just slow it down and let it come out bit by bit. Because in like 2021 alone, we had how many projects? We had so many projects, one after another. And the thing is, and my opinion on Phase 4 is that I actually don't mind a lot of them. I just feel like if they had come out at the same pace as the previous phases did, then people would have soaked it in a lot better. Like I spoke to a few people and they said it just doesn't feel the same anymore. Like the experience of watching it. The thing is with Marvel, their films were never perfect, but it was because it was an event and you used to be able to have that time to go out to watch it. And every so often it'd be like, oh yeah, a new Marvel film's coming out. And then you'd watch it and you know it's not perfect, but it still means something. I reckon a lot of Phase 4, and this is a controversial one, but I think it's either on the same quality as before, and there are things that I think that are even better than before. But because they were so close together, like Eternals and No Way Home was within a month of each other. Yeah. They were within a month of each other. I remember watching No Way Home, and the same day Hawkeye had come on. And I had seen Matt Murdock in No Way Home, and then I saw Wilson Fisk in Hawkeye on the same day, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is bizarre."
I think Bob Iger already came out saying
yes, he did.
They already kind of now that he's back, they kind of messed up things. They think got a bit too convoluted, too much was coming out under the old regime. But what I would say personally, I don't think there's ever been such a thing as superhero fatigue. That's just me personally. But only reason why is because obviously you've been growing up with it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years. I mean, there's some YouTuber I was watching, I think he's like in his 70s, bro. And it's like there's a whole room full of comic books, bro. So it's like, how can you be tired of something if all you've like we've been consuming it for so many years? Is the fact that it's just the way that it's now being presented to us that makes it become this is a drag. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
it feels like it's the only thing that's out there.
Yeah. That's why, like, look, even the Boys director came out saying, was it the director that came out saying it? Someone came out saying it about the Boys saying, "Oh, when is it going to end?" kind of thing, or is 5 seasons too? I think season 5 has already been greenlit. And potentially maybe season 6.
Oh, it was Eric Kripke, right? Yes. Yeah, he spoke about this the other day. Yeah.
So it's like, when is it going to be too much? When does it become fatigue? For me, it becomes fatigue when the story is finished. That's it. When there's no more story to tell, that's when it's done. You know what I'm saying? As we said earlier about what's it called? Fast and Furious. For me, Fast and Furious should have ended. See when they said goodbye? That bro ended there. Beautiful ending. It was 100%. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Another thing is about what you're saying is like people are gonna still be interested because like we still haven't even got an X-Men.
Bro,
properly. Do you know what I mean? And
I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four.
Do you know what I mean?
They're my favorite superhero team. Yes. So like I'm looking forward to that.
There you go. Yes. So like how are people going to feel when those ones start coming out?
I would also say the thing with superhero films, like as a kid growing up, if you like superheroes, you were a nerd and you were basically trash. But then when the MCU came about and it became mainstream, and so the culture became mainstream as well. And when that happens, everyone jumps on it. And you look online, and I've seen it online as well. The fan base expands, and it expands beyond just people who read the comics. It's become a whole cultural thing where everyone's talking about it, everyone's on it. So therefore, every mistake they'll make will be heightened. They'll get like 100k likes for making a complaint about this one thing that they did. And
you can sorry to even cut you off, but you can see already. Look, Deadpool, what is it? 3? Deadpool 3, right? Is the only Marvel film slated for this year.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think they're still gonna have. Is there 2 shows that are dropping this year?
I think it's Agatha this year still.
Agatha, yeah. I think. Okay,
Did it get pushed again?
Okay. So you got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out. Obviously, I've got a friend that actually works in I don't even know what his job really is, what it's called, but he works in like no, not the writers' room. I wish, innit? Can you imagine? I don't know the story. No, the sector where they kind of do like the censoring for the movies for all the
BBFC.
I don't know where he is. Yeah, but wherever he is, he's so he gets
called standards and practices.
Yeah, so he's seen about 85% of the film already. Yeah, and he says that he's not tired of superhero movies, but he said one thing. He said everyone's gonna love it. That's what he said. He said he's giving it 8.5 already. So wow, everyone's gonna love it. So for what he's seen, it's 8.5. Everyone's gonna love it. But obviously, I'm not asking too many information. I don't want to spoil it for myself, innit? But for me, they've made the right decision by getting someone like Ryan Reynolds in because he understands the audience. He's someone that is so like an anomaly, one of these kind of people that understand everything when it comes to meta stuff or when it comes to, comedic timing. We've been doing it for decades.
Also, to have the hook of getting Hugh Jackman, who's already a great actor, and also his Wolverine is something that is in our brains.
Exactly.
Even though my guy's 6 foot something.
Exactly.
And normally the Wolverine that we knew from the comics is like 5 foot, 5'4", little freaking terrier.
I'm honestly hoping that once Deadpool Wolverine drops, it kind of resets the. No,
it will. I think that's what Disney are betting on, as you can see, because literally they've cleared the deck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The runway is clear for them to absolutely take off. So it kind of makes sense. I'm expecting it to do really, really well. I'm expecting it to do crazy business.
I'm hoping.
I'll predict on the podcast now, and I'll say it's going to hit $1 billion. I think
it's saying that. Look, so
I think we'll hit $1 billion.
I asked you the same thing. So I ran a game on my stream the other day. So it was. I'm gonna name the movie. Yep. All you have to do is tell me which one will make $1 billion. That's it. Okay. So
wait, let me get into it. This is actually good. The front of the game is the time of the game.
Kem just said he wants to get into it. Hold on. They might not heard you. You got the game, yeah?
I'm gonna have to just wait. Do I still have the things on my head? If I don't, I'll just run it from what I remember in my head, and it's cool, innit?
Yeah.
You ready? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
You don't hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's do Deadpool Wolverine. Was it gonna make $1 billion?
Oh yeah. Easy. Easily.
Tracking looks like it's
tracking's on like 800 and something mil. So come on.
Wait, did 1, 2, and 3 make $1 billion?
No.
1, 2. Sorry, excuse me.
But they broke records.
Yeah, they broke records.
Films,
yeah.
Okay, fine. I can say yes then.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It's a shame I can't find all the names now. But all right, next one. Mufasa 2.
No way.
Why do you say that?
So I say that because people are sick of the live action
animal stuff,
and also them trying to mine on nostalgia. You know what I mean? Basically, they know we love the originals. You know what I mean? The animated originals. So they're just trying to make their money back again. They're trying to run their money again. They're trying to run the block again. It's ridiculous.
See, now why I disagree with you? Because how much did the Lion King make? The live action Lion King. How much that make?
It made $1 billion.
Yeah, it didn't make it.
So what makes you think that this will?
But to be fair, people are cotton on because think of Little Mermaid, which was near enough as bad or similar quality as the Lion King.
Yeah.
And it to be fair, do you know what upsets me? That made 700 and something mil, by the way, which is scary. It got close.
Wait, it made that much money?
Yeah, it made a lot of money. It was ridiculous how much money it made.
Wow.
So, but I still don't think this one will do it because people are sick of it. You know? But to be fair, it's Barry Jenkins. That
could
have a chance.
Barry Jenkins' name is on this.
Yeah,
it's so
and
funny.
He's got the whole Moonlight crew working on this.
That's crazy.
And it's so funny. He's like an art house director kind of thing, stuff like that, and he's making a live action thing.
I don't think so.
No, not me.
All right. Cool.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Inside Out 2.
Inside Out 2, I can see it definitely making $1 billion.
No. I think there's a bias here. Mo, you love that.
Inside Out is amazing. I love Inside Out.
I think because imagine having a film that is so loved, and no one thought there'll be a sequel to Inside Out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's getting to get a sequel, goodness me. You know what I mean? I'm kind of scared of the rewatch. I'm gonna get emotional all over.
What do you think, Hadeed?
I think if it does hit $1 billion, it will take its time to get there.
Yeah.
I feel like. It's
similar to Elemental.
Well, yes,
Elemental picked up. Elemental word of mouth.
Elemental picked up.
And also, there's something we need to also remember about Disney is after it comes out of theaters, it then goes on to Disney Plus, and then Disney Plus then gives it more interest, kind of thing, and then that gets people to go into cinemas again.
All right, cool. Next one, Despicable Me 4.
No. I'm gonna say
no. You know what? I'm gonna say yes.
Do you think their time's done now?
Yeah,
I think so too.
100%.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would say no, but because of the last one and the whole kind of
how much was that franchise made?
Do you know the you see the Gentle Minions where all these kids
they were
going into the cinemas in suits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they were taking the brands are taking it seriously, even though they're older, kind of thing.
Can I just say one
so
thing?
I think that it made it
I definitely think the Minions or Despicable Me was a perfect storm with the whole the song, Pharrell's song. I'm happy.
I heard that's one of Pharrell's biggest songs ever.
Yeah, it is. I think it is his biggest song.